Let me just throw some words at you and just get your thoughts. And I know there are a lot of them up there. We had a chance to visit a little bit before the conversation here. Gaza.
Surpasses anything that you would consider humane, legally acceptable, or in the logic of military objectives. We have to reverse what's happening in Gaza. I meet the families of the hostages. They need to come home. But I see the civilians. I go to Gaza myself. I see the abhorrent suffering of the children, of the civilians in Gaza that are squeezed in a tiny little territory where there's only rubble, where they find no security, and where they are just exposed and stripped of their human dignity entirely. And we cannot continue watching this. It's going to break our souls. It's going to haunt us. We have to stop this. We need a ceasefire in Gaza. Ukraine is a war of attrition. There are close to 150,000 missing people that we have in our system that we are trying to find. There are, in 150,000 cases, families that have contacted us because they don't know where the sons are, the daughters are, their relatives are. I'm using this example to show you how massive the human loss is in this war. We cannot neglect the fact that there's so many individuals, so many humans that have lost their lives already. And there's no indication at the moment that this will end. And how long will this continue? It's a war that is happening under international watch, just like Gaza, and a little bit less Sudan, unfortunately, even though Sudan deserves equal attention. But we are watching this, and it's tens of thousands of people that are being sacrificed. I see this from a humanitarian perspective. I'm not in charge of politics, but the politicians should, reflect on this and say, okay, maybe it's better if you come to the negotiation table and take this seriously, because that's the only way of stopping this, stopping the bleeding of our own people, and they're bleeding on both sides.
You mentioned Sudan. It doesn't get as much attention. What are your thoughts there?
Sudan is the biggest humanitarian tragedy at the moment in terms of size. Millions displaced, hundreds of thousands of people who don't have access to food and medicine, and abhorrent things that are being done to civilians. I visited Sudan last year. I visited the border of Sudan 2 years ago. There was not a woman that didn't tell me of what had happened to her. I mean, those who conduct hostilities have to instruct their forces, no matter whether it's state or non-state actors. They have to instruct their forces not to rape women, not to kill children, not to deny food, water, and the essentials, especially healthcare, to the civilian populations. The war is bad enough as it is, but you cannot have limitless wars. Not everything is allowed in a war. We don't prevent wars, but we call on states and we call on non-state armed groups involved in hostilities to respect the rules that were designed and ratified by all states to prevent the worst. And raping a woman is the worst. Killing a child is the worst. It's never allowed.